Hey everyone, Scottish WION 92 here, and welcome to another WION review. And in this WION review, which stands for Worth It or Not, I should mention, where I basically am going to answer the simple question: is Dragon Age Asunder by David Gaider worth it or not? I'm going to basically review this book to the best of my abilities. I will try and avoid spoilers as much as I can, but I will be mentioning one major spoiler towards the end of this review, and I will put a I will do a warning beforehand. But before I mention the spoiler, it'll probably be right towards the end of this video, but hopefully you'll bear with me. So, firstly, let me just say that I have read the two previous Dragon Age books. I have done reviews of those as well. I'll leave a link in the description if you haven't seen them already. But let me just give you a quick recap of the overall plot of Asunder. Now, Asunder is not a prequel like the other Dragon Age books. This is actually set after the events of Dragon Age 2. So this is really Dragon Age. This is sort of like a prequel to Dragon Age 3 as I see it. And the story in this is basically that we have a few returning characters. Firstly, we have WION. She is in this book, and there's a sad thing that happens to her in this. I'm not going to spoil it. We also have Shale, and Liliana makes an appearance once or twice in the book, which is really awesome. But the overall plot of this book is basically after the events of Kirkwall. It's set in Orleans. Firstly, I should say that it's set in Orleans, which is really awesome because Orleans is awesome by the sound of it. And the overall plot is that basically a tranquil mage has basically been doing research for some time, and he's figured out how to reverse the rite of tranquility, which, if you're not familiar with in the Dragon Age universe, basically renders a person like this and completely emotional. And it's basically the last resort for mages if the Templars who control the Mage Tower deem them unworthy or unsafe to have magic. I haven't done a wee bit. I can't remember the exact details. I will go maybe do a video on that, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, basically that's the overall, and something has gone wrong, and WION, along with her son Reyes and his friend Adriana, I keep mispronouncing his Knight Captain Evergline, I call it Eva, and Shale have to basically go and see what the fuck happened and see what happened basically. I don't want to spoil too much because there's a lot of interesting turns and twists in this book, and it's really damn awesome the way that it's done. And I really can't sum up the overall story without spoiling too much of it, and I really don't want to do that for anyone. But the story is very interesting, very gripping, and especially hearing things that happen after the events of Dragon Age 2 is really damn awesome. I always wanted to know what happened after Dragon Age 2. And this is basically set in Orleans. I think it's a couple of months after the events of Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins on my mind. Dragon Age 2. So it's really interesting, but then you've got to be thinking, why is WION still alive? If you've played Dragon Age Origins, she does hint the fact that she should not be alive. She should most likely be dead by the events of Dragon Age 2 and events of this novel, which is really cool, by the way. I'm probably rambling on, and yeah, I've made no sense whatsoever, but I will try my best to recap. But the story is very gripping. The characters I absolutely adored. Not just the returning characters. WION, as always, is fucking awesome. I loved her. She's still as great as she ever was. Reyes, who is her son, or Reyes, it's R-H-Y-S. I don't want to know what even attempt to, who is her son. If you know in Dragon Age Origins, she did mention that she had never seen her son before. And she did actually go and see her son after the events of Dragon Age Origins, but hasn't seen him in over 10 years. Hence the events of Dragon Age 2, and it's really interesting the chemistry between the two of them, because Reyes, I'm going to call him Rise, is so much like his mother. I'll say it right now. Reyes is definitely WION's son, because he has a similar personality, but at the same time he also has his own unique thing about him. And the talks between the two of them are awesome. I absolutely adore that, because WION is so like and Reyes is like and it's really damn awesome. I love the chemistry between the two of them, because Reyes didn't really know WION. WION actually, he hasn't seen WION. He's seen WION once before in his life, before the events of this book, and it's really, really tense between some of them at one point, and then really, really heartfelt at other points. And the other character, of course, we have Shale, who is always awesome. I fucking love Shale, he's awesome. Then we've got the other mage who's with them on their little quest, basically, who is Adrian. I think that's how you pronounce her name. All Legions! What is it with you fucking hard to pronounce names? And Evergleen? I called her Eva because her name is long and hard to pronounce. Fuck you, All Legions, by the way. Who is a Templar, who is basically, I must admit, a very good Templar. She actually is basically what a Templar should be. And in my opinion, if every Templar was like Evergleen, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have had that problem in Kirkwall. I'm pretty sure, because she's a very fair person and she's very well portrayed. She's absolutely awesome in the way her thinking is, and also what she believes in. She believes in the circle, but she also believes that some Templars do go a little too far with what they do. And she basically says the basic thing that a Templar should do: a Templar should protect mages not only from threats of demons, but also themselves. That is what a Templar should do, not fucking just go, yeah, sorry, I've got a fear that you're going to turn into an abomination. I cannot say anything today. And I'm going to give you the right of tranquility. What? I absolutely adored her character. She was really, really, really well portrayed, and she really grows on you throughout the book, and there's a little bit of a romance between her and Riot, which is awesome. Excuse me. The other really memorable character for me is the Lord Seeker. I can't remember his name. I ended up just calling him Lord Seeker, and he's actually referred to basically as Lord Seeker throughout this book. He does have a name, but it's kind of forgot on me. And he's basically the most, how do I put this, the most anti-magic guy I've ever fucking seen. I mean, literally, he is a firm believer in the Maker, and that everything that the Maker said in the book, in the Chant of Light, is law. And he basically enforces that with an iron fist. He will literally probably kill you if you say anything wrong, and he does kill quite a few mages. And he basically wants a war. He basically wants all mages to basically bow at his feet. That's basically what he wants. And he's really the character that you grow to hate in this book. And I don't want to let it spoil what happens to him, but it's pretty damn awesome what happens to him, because he's really well done, and David Gaider, a fantastic job on creating a pretty damn evil bastard. Well, he's not really evil, he's just absolutely bonkers. That's all I can really say on him. And he's awesome, I'll say about it. He's really memorable. I won't forget him, and I hope he dies. I'll say right now. Dragon Age seems to have that on me. Like, there's always one character in the Dragon Age, no matter what it is, games, movies, or whatever, games, books, whatever, that I always just go, I want you to die now. And I absolutely adored that, and it's fantastic. The other character that really is pretty damn awesome is a character who was only referred to as Cole, who we actually don't know that much about. We only get a little bit about his backstory, but the thing is, though, he's actually invisible. Yeah. The only person that can see him most of the time is Reyes. I cannot fucking remember. It's RHY. How do you pronounce that? But he's the only one that can see Cole. No one else can see him, and if anyone else does see him, as soon as they don't see him, they forget about him. And it's not really hinted at. It's hinted at that he may be a demon, but it's also hinted that he may be a mage who may have a unique ability. That is mentioned once or twice. And it's really interesting because you really feel sympathy for him, because he is really the sympathetical character, but also at the same time he's a murderer. He has killed people for certain reasons, I won't say why, but he has killed certain people, and he's really this character who you feel sympathy for, but at the same time you're like, he did kill people, so I should know if I should feel sympathetical towards him, and I don't know why I'm swaying my head left and right. Stop that. But it's really well done, and I will say he's like that character who you're like, I want to feel sorry for him, but at the same time he kills people. But he kind of like kills people because they ask him to kill them, and it's kind of confusing. And I'm like, I don't know whether I feel sorry or happy. I'm confused. Help. But it's really well done, and I will say that he's a really interesting character, and what you find out about him later on in the book is really interesting. I don't think there's really anything else I can say on it without spoiling too much of the story. It's definitely a must read for any Dragon Age fan, especially if you're wondering what happened after the events of Dragon Age 2, which if you're like me, you are dying to know. But basically this book is setting up for Dragon Age 3, my friend, because it's basically the main focus of this story, besides the fact that there may be a cure for the Right of Tranquility, which is extremely dangerous, by the way, is the Mage Templar War. I mean, literally, that is what's referred to in the book the most, the Mage Templar War.